Ever since space travel became viable, people have been eager to learn what mysteries lay beyond our planet. One of Earth's next door neighbors, Mars, has been a particular point of interest for space exploration. As technology becomes more advanced, we are able to learn more about planets like Mars with the use of cutting edge spacecraft technology. Since the 1970s, scientists have been sending spacecrafts to explore and gather information about the planet Mars. Several different types of spacecraft have been sent to Mars over the years. Three main types of spacecraft used in space explorations are orbiters, landers, and rovers. Orbiters orbit Mars, takes pictures as they zoom around the planet. Landers provide photos and information from their landing spots on the surface of Mars. Rovers are the most important one. Rovers has wheels and specializes in moving around. They land on the surface and drive around to different areas on the planet. Rovers are used to help scientists understand different parts of the planet, collecting minerals and rocks. Rovers became popularized due to their long duration and mobility. Contrary to popular belief, Russia was the first country to land a rover on Mars, though it never successfully explored the Red Planet. Prop M, 1971. Landed safely, but all contact was lost within 90 seconds. Mars Cod, 1973. Lost contact with rover before it landed on Mars, primarily used for experimenting and improving future rover technology. Many attempts were made, but it wasn't until the 20th century when the United States was able to successfully explore Mars with a land rover. The U.S. successfully landed 4 rovers on Mars from 1997 to 2013. In 1997, NASA was able to successfully land the United States' first rover on another planet. The rover was named Sojourner. It was the size of a microwave oven, and it captured black and white images and gathered information about the surface of Mars. It was found that the landscape of Mars used to be warm and wet, then turned cold and dry. In 2004, NASA rovers Spirit and Opportunity landed to further explore the surface of Mars. Spirit and Opportunity were the first rovers to take color pictures of another planet. Both land rovers had the same scientific instruments and were the size of a golf cart. Found evidence of geothermal and volcanic activity and past wet conditions. Showed scientists that a long time ago, water on Mars may have looked a lot like water on Earth. Mars possibly could have supported microbial life at one point in time. In 2011, NASA sent the largest robot to ever land on another planet. It was the size of an SUV. The rover's name was Curiosity. It was sent to Mars to determine if the planet ever had the proper conditions for microbial life to survive. It drilled holes in rocks to find mineral sediment, helped determine the history of water on Mars. It helped further the idea that Mars could have potentially had living organisms at one point. Yet it was found that Mars has high dangerous levels of radiation and it was not sustainable for human life. NASA can transmit a series of specific commands which the rover then dutifully carries out. NASA can also give the rover a target and then trust the technology within the rover to autonomously find its own way there. The commands are transmitted to rover via NASA's Deep Space Network. NASA's Deep Space Network, the worldwide network of big dish antennas that NASA uses to communicate with spacecrafts and carry out radio astronomy. Mars has a record of past water activity that can be found in the rocks and geologic landforms on the planet. Mars is made up of lots of different types of rocks. Each rock is made up of different mixture of chemicals and minerals, particularly interested in minerals that can be only formed in presence of water. Rovers on Mars have collected evidence of water and other chemical building blocks of life. Scientists think that it might be possible that life exists on Mars a long time ago, meaning life could potentially exist again under the right circumstances. NASA has plans to send another rover to Mars in July of 2020 to continue to explore and search for signs of past microbiological life. The mission will send a rover very similar to Curiosity to explore the rocks, dirt, and air on Mars. The rover will experiment with a natural resource that would be helpful in planning a human mission to Mars. The rover will test a method of getting oxygen from the air in the Martian atmosphere. Continue search for preserved signatures of past life on Mars. Here we have a video of Mars 2020 rover build update.
20 project. I'm standing in the spacecraft assembly facility at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory where we're building up the pieces of the Mars 2020 flight vehicle. I want to show you some of the flight hardware we have in here that's being built right now. To the far left, you can see the cruise stage. The cruise stage is the part that gets us to Mars. Then next to the cruise stage, you see our descent stage. The descent stage does our powered descent when we're landing on Mars. It is inside of something we call the air shell, which you can see over here. The air shell has a parachute at the top, and the parachute will deploy and slow us down at Mars. And then to the far right, what you see is the heat shield. The heat shield is the part of the spacecraft that faces the atmosphere. It ablates a little and slows us down, and then we jettison it. And then the rover comes down on the bridle, and we land on the surface of Mars. What you see over here may not look like what it is, but this is the beginnings of the rover that's going to drive on Mars. It has the electronics on the inside, but we don't have the wheels on, we don't have the mobility system on, we don't have the belly pan on. All those things are coming in, and over the next several months, we're going to finish the rover.